Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching Channels Television celebrating 21 years of professional broadcasting. Now to some of the pictures you sent into our eyewitness portal. First, this picture of a weak bridge around Leoji on Kotangura Rijau Road in Niger State. Our eyewitness reporter wants the government to look into this. Followed by this one from Kaduna City in Kaduna State. Our eyewitness reporter is asking the government to repair this road. This picture of an erosion is from Digi Uragori Road in Kebbi State. Our eyewitness reporter is calling the attention of the government to this ugly situation. From Ariaria Market in Aba, the commercial nerve center of Abia State, comes this picture of a flooded road. Our eyewitness reporter is urging the government to see to the state of this market. Finally, is this one from Ajelogo area of Mile 12 in Lagos State. Our eyewitness reporter is calling on concerned authorities to act urgently. Well, thank you for sending those pictures and keep them coming. As the African Union Summit gets underway in Kigali, Rwanda, Nigeria's Vice President has challenged African nations to urgently address the problems of poverty and inequality on the continent. Professor Yemi Osinbajo was speaking at an event hosted by the President of Ghana, Mr. John Mahama, on Africa and SDGs on the sideline of the AU meeting. The Vice President, who's leading the Nigerian delegation to the continent-wide meeting, told the gathering of presidents and several heads of delegations that the whole idea of the SDGs is really about addressing inequality and poverty. He observed that, quote, the problems are so obvious that however we describe the program, we really must do something, and something urgently, end of quote. He cited the example of the 500 billion naira social investment program designed to lift many out of poverty in Nigeria. The Police Service Commission has approved the promotion of 18 commissioners of police to the rank of Assistant Inspectors General of Police, and also approved their postings with 4 other AIGs. The Commission explained in a press statement that 12 of the AIGs are to man the 12 police zonal commands, while the remaining 10 will head police special formations such as operations, training, police academy, and others. The statement notes that the Commissioner of Police Kaduna State, Ibrahim Adamu, is now AIG Zone 1, while Abdul Majid Ali, Commissioner of Police Ogun State, is now AIG Zone 2, and Usman Tilli, who is the AIG border, is now AIG Zone 3. 37 Commissioners of Police, including 9 Deputy Commissioners of Police, also had their promotions approved by the Commission, and 16 of these Commissioners retained their commands. Revamping the economy through diversification away from crude oil has been on the front burner since inception of the new administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. One of the industries that has remained undeveloped is leather production, which is said to have the potential of boosting the economy. Channels Television visited Naraguta Leather Works in Jos, Plateau State in north-central of Nigeria, and takes a look at how the players are coping with the art.
Naraguta Leather Works is one of the leading tanning companies in Nigeria, turning animal hide and skin into different leather works, ranging from shoes to bags, belts, and other decorative ornaments. Located in Naraguta village in Jos North local government area of Plateau State, north-central Nigeria, the Naraguta Leather Works was founded in 1935 by Abdullahi Shuaibu, and with time it has become a family business spanning over 3 generations, with several youths learning the trade and producing arts and crafts found in shops and some hotels around the country. 74-year-old Idris Shuaibu is the son of the founder and was born into the business. He now transfers his knowledge to his children.
Most of them are all my children. They go to school and when they come back, they continue. Even the largest players that you see them, they are all graduates now. We have some graduates who are doing the simulator works because there's no government work.
The process of transforming the animal skin is long and requires skill, patience, and dexterity. Soaking the animal skin in chemical, liming it, scrubbing, and finally drying it takes about a week. It's been a difficult time for businesses like this, owing to the violence erupting from time to time in Plateau State. But with the relative peace now being enjoyed, the government has put in place measures to assist the medium-scale industry with soft loan.
The major challenges we have is that we don't have machineries to actually take care of our works that we've been doing. Almost everything, as you can see, about 99% of what we do here is all done with hand. So we want to have a factory, a standard factory that we can use, that we can be producing, let's say, maybe 500 pairs of shoes per day, which would be a very good one, and that's what we want.
Position of government now, but that doesn't stop government from intervening. Once if those small-scale businesses are booming, obviously it affects the general commerce and the general trade and the general activities, and that is what government does to stimulate these things. We have to stimulate it. These are things that maybe when we are doing it, they are not tangible that you can touch, but when you do it, it has a multiplier effect that even our IGR will be affected positively.
As diversification is the major alternative to dependence on crude oil, the Naraguta Leather Works remain one of the medium-scale industries that, if well harnessed and given the adequate support, will provide job opportunities for the youths and add to the internally generated revenue of the state.
Some art and skills there. Now, in different parts of the country, communal clashes, herdsmen attacks, Boko Haram insurgents, flooding, and even other related disasters have resulted in many people fleeing their homes, seeking shelter elsewhere. Reports from different government agencies, non-governmental organizations, both local and international, have put the numbers of internally displaced persons at over 3.3 million, especially owing to the deadly Boko Haram insurgency. In Benue, Taraba, Kaduna, Nasarawa, Oyo, Zamfara, and other states, clashes have been recorded between farmers and herdsmen over grazing lands, leaving many dead, properties, farmlands, and whole communities destroyed. Joining me on the News at 10 to discuss more about the challenges of the internally displaced persons in Nigeria is Executive Director of a non-governmental organization, CESO, working with internally displaced people in various parts of the country, Mrs. E.A. Jonathan Ichabe. I've been trying to get that straight. I hope I got that. E.A.
You did Jonathan a very good job. You did very
good to have you join us this evening.
Thank
Firstly,
you.
What's your assessment of the whole situation?
Actually, I think it's a very difficult situation. We've not had this kind of crisis on this scale, at least even since the Biafran War. 3.3 million, that's the size of countries, really. And sometimes the figures vary. Official statistics, Nigeria says they have 2.1 million, others say 3.3. We personally think from what we've seen, it's more than that. We think it's nearer the 3.3 million mark. Now, some of the questions that come up a lot when we do our work, we've worked in 7 states across the country. One, there's a preconception that most displaced people live in camps. Actually, of the official estimates Nigeria has, let's say they say there are about over 2 million people in displaced. Only 14% of that number live in camps. The rest of them live in host communities. They're either renting housing or renting shacks. And they've moved to different states. So even those figures come from 13 states officially. But we know, for example, that there are people who have fled to Lagos for safety. Now,
You mean some of the displaced persons are here in Lagos?
Are here in Lagos. They live in settlements. Sometimes some of our government agencies refuse to say they're IDPs and they say they're economic migrants because they come here and they're not looking for handouts. They come here to try and find work and make a living in Lagos. In Benue, you have those who, even when you open camps, they don't stay in camps because it's not a culture they're used to. So they would rather go out In some of the communities we visited, I think early last month in Benue, in Taka local government, in Buruku local government, they would rather go out and find work, find farming to do. In the northeast, those who can also do that. So it's quite a very different dynamic, but it's a very challenging situation. Some of the camps, some of our own partners who we work with have visited in Maiduguri. The numbers are overwhelming. You have 3,000 people in a place. You take food, trying to do that. So it's quite challenging.
If you look at it, sorry to cut you there, because
Sure.
I'm trying to see if we can quickly get into how best we can help them, especially the women and children.
Yes. I think the first thing is for us to even acknowledge how the nature of the problem. The fact, because constantly we focus very much on working with private sector and individuals to get the help, because you can't leave it to the government to do alone. It's a huge task. And most people all they want to do is go to the camps, with all due respect to some of the people we talk to, and take pictures and take food, which is fine, but we need to do so much more. And we try to tell the stories, and a few things we're trying to fix and to work on now is to see how we can first get those people authenticated. The children need to go to school. When you talk to the displaced people, the first concern for them is, my children are not in school. How can they go to school? We've written to the Vice President's office, urging that we look at different ways to make sure that children are in school. Even if they're displaced, if there are documentary requirements, they should be waived. For the women, they need help on different levels. Of course, everybody who is displaced is traumatized, and we need to have very strong work going on there with trauma counseling, helping them. But then they also need to be able to make a living. So, for example, we have 2 partners now who are trying to fund some livelihood support programs for the women by giving them small grants to help them do something. And we need more people coming forward to do things of that nature. So that's just a start. I will add that we've largely ignored the trauma that needs to happen, because a lot of the people in the camps have been abused in one way or the other. The children have witnessed horrific things, and we're not quite sure yet what the plan is for providing psychosocial support to help them deal with that crisis.
Quickly before you leave, the letter you wrote to the Vice President's office, have you gotten any response so far?
Not yet, but he is aware we've written to him, because we saw him and we told him at another meeting, and it was mentioned to him, and we continue to intend to follow up.
I'm hoping that as soon as he gets back from Rwanda, he should be able to take a look at that, since he's already acknowledged receipt of the letter.
We will send him a reminder if we don't hear
Many
from
thanks
him.
for speaking with us on the News at 10.
Thank you so very much.
When the News at 10 returns, Minister of Agriculture speaks on plan to revive the sector and make it attractive to youth. Join us again.